Your tonsils look good. Your tonsils look good. A little red. You might want to get that checked out. So let's start with the Zoom classes. I taught today from 10 to about 3:30. I typically teach from 10 to 4, but I let the kids off a half hour early because I had completely lost their attention and there was no point to continue. Zoom classes make classes super portable, and I only had 2 kids for my upperclassmen history class today. Normally there are 4, but 2 are on a campaigning trip. They've gone out to another state to do some campaign work, which is a good reason to miss your history and government class, actually. But I was left with 2 children, and I took that opportunity to work on their writing skills because my history class involves a lot of writing. So I said, cool, we're going to work on writing. And I prepared a whole slideshow with lots of informative videos. And then I was going to walk them through, or I did. I walked them through, the steps of research. What's a good source? What's a bad source? How do you use one source to find another source? And all that good stuff. And we got through outlining, but we never got through the actual writing. And I'll tell you why. Because Zoom classes are way too portable. That was distracting. It was like, travel with me, teacher. It was so distracting. Look, my kids have ADHD, but so do I. And it was just so distracting. And then because he was on a hotspot, it would click out and then click back in. I had to keep letting him into the classroom, not looking at the screen with her on it. I have 2 screens, which is why you see me looking up weird. And I'd look up to talk to her, and she's literally having a conversation with someone else. As much as I am against schools opening with COVID in session, I will be so glad when we get back to normal. I'm not mad at the parents, but my short attention span gets distracted when the students are doing other things, and I'm trying to teach. It was hard. So this article here is, I was going to keep this to myself, but this article here caught my eye. Let's try that bigger. Okay. This is a college teacher, I believe, and she said, all of my students turn off their cameras. It's making class miserable. And look at the picture of just like everyone's name on a square. I'd be like, guess what? We're not doing this class. And like, I have a couple of kids who learn on iPhone. And I know when they're texting or doing something else, because when you start texting, your screen goes off. And it's funny because I see their hand approaching their screen. Like I see this motion here, and then their screen goes off. And then I see that they're texting other students on another learning platform that we have. And I'm like... And I'm just constantly typing into the text box on the side. I need to see your face. Show me your face. Faces, please. Faces. I want to see your face. Faces. And all day I'm like, faces. Faces. Last week it was like, please don't lie down. Please don't lie down. And in the beginning of the year, I let them do whatever they want. There's a couple of videos where I mentioned child laying down, fluffing their pillow, whatever. But I have found that when one child lays down, all the other child lays down. When one child starts yawning, then I'm giving like a full class tonsil exam because they all yawn I'm not going to do it, but they all like unhinge their faces or like are right in front of the camera. And I'm like, your tonsils look good. Your tonsils look good. A little red. You might want to get that checked out. You know, it's crazy. So back to this teaching assistant, graduate student teaching assistant at a large state university. And they teach 2 discussion sessions of around 20 undergrad students each. And, you know, they did a survey and said, you know, are you comfortable with your cameras on? Are you comfortable talking to the camera? Are you comfortable using the side text bar? And they're all like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Now, when they log into their class, all of the students have their cameras off. And they're wondering if they should require the students to have their cameras on. Yes. Yeah. You can have a phone call chain. You know what I mean? If the cameras aren't on, I need the cameras on when I'm teaching. And like, there are some people who hate having the cameras on, distracted by their own image. Look, when I'm teaching, like right now I'm talking, my camera is here, I'm looking here. I am distracted by my own image. But please turn your camera on. Today I had several children talking to me, and they'd say, hey, Miss Andrea, and I'd say yes. And I'd say yes to a different student, because, you know, they're all kind of middle school voices, and they all have that same cute little ring to them. And so, and another kid would go, oh, and I'm like, wait, who spoke? Raise your hand. Because it's easier for me if they raise their hand and for me to call on them than for them to say, hey, Miss Andrea, which in my class is allowed, but it's better for me if I can see the face. And I've actually asked them to make like paddles or something for the younger kids to wave them if I'm not answering them. And then another kid gets upset if we don't call on him, but he keeps turning his camera off so he can text. And so he gets the loud sign. I'm like, I can't talk to you if I can't see you. So that's kind of how I get them to keep the camera on, is I can't acknowledge you and you can't participate in class if your camera is not on. It's just crazy, because when you're having a full conversation and you're helping a specific child in the classroom setting, you're like, so we're going to talk about your essay and give me feedback. And you're working along with their problem, and then you ask them a question and you look up and their square is black and they're not answering. It's too much. Whoever this TA is, if your student's camera's not on, your student's not in class. If you were in a classroom and all the students walked in and then turned their desk to face their backs to you, that would be distracting. And it's the same thing. Do you think? Tell me. Like, go into the comments and tell me if a black Zoom screen is the same as a student with their back turned to you, because I think it is. So that's enough about that. I took a 3-hour nap after I finished teaching today because I was burnt. And I had a smaller class than usual, but because I had a smaller class, kids were more relaxed. And I was just so distracted by the student movement. I don't mind the camera off for a minute, because they'll say, hey, my food just came. Can I turn off my camera for 10 minutes? Yes, please turn off your camera for 10 minutes. You know, it'd be better for me if you ate before class. I'm just saying. But my history class is very long. So yes, turn off your camera for 10 minutes. So what else do I have here? This is interesting. The police in Bixby, Oklahoma, are investigating an assault at a middle school recorded by another student. This was premeditated. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't even know what the rules are. I'm showing someone else's video. I see everyone doing it. But when I try to research the rules, I don't get a clear answer. Hey, y'all, tell me what the rules are for showing a clip of someone else's video and how long you can show it. But the point is, the video opens, the video starts, and the camera is trained on 2 students in a corner. And one student is standing next to another student's desk. And another student comes over, grabs the girl by her hair, yanks her on the floor, punches her like very poorly, like she wasn't a good fighter, punches her like 6 or 7 times, and then stomps off as a teacher, comes around that corner. And so the person with the cell phone should be in trouble. Police believe the attack was planned because whoever took the video on their cell phone started recording before the assault happened. Premeditated, right? The kid had to go to the hospital, and they're not saying who was punished how. But unfortunately, fights are not uncommon, especially dealing with adolescents. It's a middle school. That's criminal. That's criminal. I'm sorry. And this, I realized we had fights back in the day. In middle school, people sucker punched me many times. I had a mouth, but people sucker punched me many times. By the time I got to high school, if someone told me someone was upset with me, I got real good at apologizing for whatever I had flippantly said, because I usually got in trouble because of my mouth. But, so I wanted to know more about this, but at the end of the day, it's premeditated, and, there will be juvenile court prosecution, as there well should be. Like, someone was waiting to record you literally attack someone who was not prepared to be in a fight. That's called an attack. And considering the weapons kids carrying stuff these days, it could have been so much worse than that. And as I was researching this fight in Bixby, Oklahoma, I Googled to maybe get a different coverage on it, and I found that just last year there was another similar attack. March 19th. April 19th. So a year and a half ago, there was a similar attack. There probably aren't more because half the kids aren't in school. 2 videos on social media show up about 2 different fights, and one of them, once again, the camera footage turns on, and the kid is attacked by a group of kids. Man, that's some real thug energy out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is all I can say. In recent days, there have been several posts on social media related to reported incidents of bullying and fighting in Bixby public schools. As a longtime teacher, administrative father, and grandfather, I can assure you that I am disheartened anytime a child is a target of physical violence or hurtful speech at school. Now, if I had read this the almost 2 years ago that it happened, I would have been like, my kid would have been out of school. Done, done, done. If you can't protect my kid, you can't teach my kid. Point blank, period, end of conversation. And I guess I still think that. The girl who was attacked, if the parents are able, they should look into alternative education. Because if the school can't protect her, then the school can't be entrusted with her. That's just how I feel. So I asked a few questions during this video. Please reply to my questions in the comments. And if you have any questions at all about homeschooling, I'm your girl. Ask me. Till next time.